All right, welcome back. If you've been following us before on our series of rendezvous and proximity operations sequence videos, this is another one. In this case, we're going to talk about the Set Reference Vehicle sequence. It's one of our utility sequences that we find from the RPO Configuration folder, and it is one that you need for any of these things that you're doing. So you'll always you'll always set your reference vehicle, and then once after you've done that, you'll follow that with a set initial state. So the set reference vehicle sequence sets the reference vehicle for the satellite. Generally, this should be the target satellite, but during a rendezvous phase, the reference can generally be a different relative orbit to the target, such as a relative V-bar position or something like that. And so what this does is it does two things. So the first thing it does is in our basic reference properties, it's going to set our reference, so set our reference vehicle. The other thing it does is it sets the orbit system in our 3D graphics properties. So you see there's no orbit system here. What we would see is as our reference is set to target, the target satellite, we want to visualize in a relative reference frame to the target satellite. And so we're going to typically do that in the VVLH frame. And so when we run this, I'm just going to go ahead and put a stop in front or after the set reference vehicle. And we're going to say, I'm going to set the RPO satellite's reference vehicle to the target satellite. It's already set that way, but let's run it and see what happens. I'm just going to close this and reopen it. And we can look. Now before our reference was already set to target. Our 3D graphics system, if you recall, was set to nothing. Now it's set to target VVLH. Sometimes when we set things like this using a script, we do have to refresh the panel, and so that's why I opened and closed, or closed and opened. And so now let's go ahead and do this differently. We're going to set it to the chase vehicle, so this chase satellite here. Could be anything, it's whatever reference vehicle we want. And we go ahead and run it again. And then just so you can see, if we look at reference, you'll notice that it doesn't appear to have changed, but if we refresh the panel. And when we run things in scripts like this, there's a couple of ways to do that. Either you can refresh the panel, you can also click apply changes, and they do similar mechanisms. So now you see that it's set to target for the reference vehicle. And then for the orbit system, we now have the chase satellite's VVLH frame set to show the graphics. You notice that the target VVLH is still there, but it's been disabled. And so you can actually use the set reference vehicle sequence more than once in a RPO mission plan. And if you do that, then it wouldn't make sense to continue to visualize in the previous reference vehicle, so we change it as you go. But we leave them there in case you want to change it back. So that is the set reference vehicle, sorry, leave that open. That is the set reference vehicle sequence, and that's accessed through the RPO configuration folder. So thanks for listening.